again, I posted MVI 3154. Governor Jerry Brown signs new legislation. This has received some interesting comments. This one viewer wrote, "Can you freaking believe it? Jerry Brown is most likely a bent-over boy for Barack Hussein Obama. Can you say civil disobedience on a massive scale?" I don't think it's going to come to that, and I don't think it should come to that. I would not comply. All these new laws will do absolutely nothing to deter bad guys. I totally agree. Absolutely nothing. I would be buying ammo from out of state, as well as anything else I need for my semi-auto rifle or handgun. Well, when you're going to be buying out of state, they're going to have the same kind of requirements. They're not going to be able to send the product into the customers in your state once this becomes law. I've got a friend that called me, and he and I are both shooters. We shoot 2 or 3 times a week. I do, and he does as often as he can. And he said AR-15s are like chicken's teeth. You can't find one now. Everyone has bought them up. And ammunition is being taken off the shelves at unprecedented rates by customers because they want to avoid what they know is coming, which is a $50 fee and ammunition registration. He goes on to say, "It is time to reload and buy the components to reload as I could afford." Well, they're going to go after those as well. They haven't, to the best of my knowledge, but they're going to go after those as well. They're going to go after primers. They're going to go after brass, the cases. They're going to go after bullets and powder. You're going to have to do the same thing, I think, for those as factory-made ammunition. I reload an awful lot, and I expect that eventually that will become a series of products that will have to be reported back to the feds. He goes on to say, "This is no business of the government as to how many rounds I purchase." Well, I guess they think it is, but what it also allows them to do, they'll have a very good idea as to what kind of weapons you own based on the ammunition that you buy. Obviously, they won't know the specific manufacturer, but they'll know if you have like a 308, or they'll know if you have a 223, they'll know if you have a 45, they'll know if you have a 44, they'll know what kind of caliber weapon you have, and they'll know where that weapon is from the database. So when it comes time to round up, well, they'll know where to go. They won't know where the bad guys have it, but they'll know where the good guys have it. He goes on to say, "I bet none of these new laws apply to Jerry Brown's protective security force. If he does not have bodyguards, he may want to consider it, since there are many pissed off California gun owners, as there should be." Well, I'm sure that he does have, and you want to be careful, because that could be like an implied threat, and you certainly don't want to do that. The real shame is the freak, an Obama lover, will probably get reelected. There are so many Americans that do not have a clue. It is really freaking sad. Another viewer wrote, "Does that mean that law enforcement need to turn in their semi-automatic weapons too? They should have to, since it's the new law. They better not pass this to MA. It's in Massachusetts." And I wrote back, "Law enforcement is excluded." Another viewer wrote, "Jerry Brown has been a psychopath for many years. Certainly not surprising. Just wonder if this legislation was passed by both houses in California." Well, it really doesn't matter if it was passed by both. The key is it was passed. I don't blame Jerry. I blame the congressmen and senators of the California legislature. Well, so do I. Uh, the last one I'm going to comment on right now is the viewer wrote, Gabe, we know Brown is a clown, but what in the hell is the matter with the residents of the state of California? Well, the same thing that's wrong with the residents of California is what's wrong with the residents of Illinois or Michigan or any blue state. Whacked out Democrats. That's what's wrong. Yeah. Take a look at Chicago. I did a video. Every 2 hours someone gets shot and every 10 hours someone gets murdered. Every 2 hours someone gets shot and every 10 hours someone gets murdered. And this is in a state that has some of the most restrictive gun laws in the nation. It also has a very large population of folks in the inner city that dabble in narcotics. Remember, Brown is a shyster that okayed the man-made California droughts, aka crimes against humanity. It really is Californation. You know what Jerry Brown also did when he was governor the first time? What he did was he bent over for the unions. This is the reason that California is in the financial straits that they're in. A retired police officer makes more money than a newly hired police officer. And the way they worked it is that the last 2 years of their employment prior to retiring, they get 90% of their highest earnings. 90%. So what they all do is they work overtime. It's all part of their program. And so if a new officer, I'll just throw some numbers out, let's say he's making $100,000 a year, one that's been retired recently could be earning about $160,000 a year. Every 20 years, they hire a new police force. And it isn't just the police force. It's the fire department. It's all of those government agencies. And they all work the system. Crazy, is it not? Well, Jerry Brown was instrumental in pretty much the financial ruin of future generations of Californians because he again bent over for the unions. Do your own research. I've posted a whole lot of videos on that 3-4 years ago. You know what I think, you know what some of my viewers think. The question now is, what do you folks think?